All right, now let's talk about the steps of leading a Eureka lesson. Specifically for this video, we're going to look at older elementary and younger elementary. The routines are pretty similar, so I think we can tackle both of them at once. And we're just going to talk about steps 1, 2, and 3. But before we even do that, let's talk about what happens before class. So as kids are coming into your classroom, what's going on? Well, for one, you can play some of those Eureka songs that we talked about in the other video, where we talked about getting started with Eureka. So you can have some of those playing in the classroom. Kids can come in and listen to those, watch the music videos on the screen, and just kind of get warmed up. One of the other things they can do when they come in is they can read the journal article that's in their discovery guide. All right, so it's here on the back. So as they come in, you can give them their discovery guide and they can turn it to the back and start reading. So this is the younger elementary discovery guide, and this is what I'm gonna kind of use to walk through these steps for us. So this is Nikki Knack, and she's the explorer that kind of guides the younger elementary age levels through their expedition each week. And she's got a little adventure that she has written about here on the back. And each one of these adventures, there's something in that story that will remind the kids of something that they did in the lesson. There might be a reference to the remember verse, there might be a reference to the Bible story that they explored, but there's something in there that kind of connects with the lesson. So kids will have a fun time reading that story and trying to figure out where that connection point is. So they can do that just when they come in on their own, or they can also listen to those journal stories, also on that DVD or CD, or you can stream those, and that is Nikki actually telling the story herself. Once all that is done and you're ready to get started with the lesson, it's time for step 1. So step 1 is the remember verse. So why do we call it a remember verse? Because we want kids to remember why they explore in the first place. We want them to remember that God loves them. We want them to remember that they can have a relationship with God. So all the remember verses talk about something having to do with our relationship with God, how He feels about us, how we interact with Him, how we work together, and we want to remember that. So we're going to kick off the lesson, step 1, with the remember verse. You can watch the remember verse video as a class, sing along if you want to. When you're done with that, kids can give it a shot and see if they can say the verse by themselves if they want to, or if you want to play the video and sing along with the video, you can do that too. Now here's where some of the online resources come in, and they're super cool. If you have kind of a wiggly classroom and they like to get up and move and run around, there are about 7 or 8 games that you can play that will actually help you remember the remember verse. And you can find those at foundryleader.com. So just go on there and check them out, pick one of those games. They are tons of fun. So you can use that. That's also another way to make your lesson go a little bit longer. If you have a longer time period to fill, you can play 1 or 2 of those games right here at the beginning and get your kids moving. So that is step 1. So step 2 is what's that word? Now this is the first of the 5 what questions, where we explore the words that are in the passage. And we do this before we even read the passage because we want to prepare kids to dive in and explore, give them a little bit more confidence as they read the passage for the first time. So each week, you'll explore 3 words, sometimes 2 words, sometimes 4 words. The younger elementary, for this example, has 3 words. The older elementary, sometimes they will have different words, maybe more difficult words. So here's what you're gonna do for what's that word. You're gonna start by decoding the words. So what's that mean? Inside the discovery guide, we have the definitions of each word. Now this is younger elementary, remember? And then we have the words here, but they're missing some letters. So your younger elementary kids are going to decode the missing letters. They'll find the symbol, come up here to Nikki Knack's decoder, so they can learn what letter goes in these missing spaces, and they will fill those in, and just like that, they will know what the 3 words are. Then you will read the definitions for them, and you can talk about them. They can ask questions about them once you figure out what those words are. Now that's the younger elementary. For the older elementary, we make the decoding process a little bit harder. Instead of just missing a few letters, they are missing the entire word. So they have no idea what the word is, and they have to decode all the letters of the words. And here's their decoder. Their symbols are on the side. And in order to crack the code, they have to fold their back discovery guide over here to reveal the key to the code. So they'll match up the code, the symbols with the letters, and they can fill it in and they'll be able to figure out what those words are. Now you can do this all together. You can have kids do it on their own. You can put them in small groups and they can work on them together. Or if you want to work on them as a class, you can do that too. As a bonus tip, kids can also do this part before class even starts. Just as soon as they come in, you can have them sit down and start decoding their words, give them something to do while they're waiting to get started. Then when you get to the What's That Word segment, everybody has their words decoded and you can just dive in and start talking about them. And then when you're done, check off the box. Yes, check it off. All right, that's What's That Word. So step 3 is something we call peaks and pitfalls. Now, since communication and discussion and community is such an important part of Eureka, we want kids to get to know each other and learn about each other. And the more they'll feel safe to share their ideas, you'll be less worried about embarrassing yourself if you know that everyone around you is your friend. And so we built that into the lesson. We actually built that in so that you have a time to share and make sure kids get to know each other. It's called Peaks and Pitfalls. What it is you'll just take a few minutes and kids who would like to share, they can talk about the best thing that happened in their week. That would be the peak. Or they can talk about the worst thing that's happened that week. That would be the pitfall. Now, of course, they don't have to share. If they don't want to, they don't have to. But you're going to do that every week. And you can even, as a leader, write down some of the things that they say so that you can remember those and you can come back the next week and ask them about it. Say, hey, how'd that big test go that you were worried about? The older elementary kids, they actually have a space in their discovery guide here where they can write in some of the things that they hear from their peers. So they can write down some of the things that they want to remember or things that maybe they want to pray for. So make sure your older elementary kids take advantage of this section here in their discovery guide. So that's peaks and pitfalls. When you're done sharing, you'll have a little time of prayer and get everyone focused for the rest of the expedition. All right, so there you have it. That's steps 1, 2, and 3. Now check out the next How to Lead video where we will dive into steps 4, 5, and 6. See you there.